this year we just coming this year to show them the Bama standard for the defense to show who we really is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Tuesday night after game one, and the intro brought to you by Jaheim Otis. I'm Justin Riley, and you're watching the Bama Standard, your top show for the best Bama content around. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're in the live chat, let's get things rolling. It's Texas week. If you're watching the replay, get in the comment section down below. I got an all-star crew here, and they are brought to you by Workspace Solutions. If your business needs a digital presence or full-fledged marketing team, they are the guys to call. Matter of fact, they are the ones who helped us put on that show everybody enjoyed this past Friday at the Bryant Museum. With me, as always, is a living legend, the undefeated, undisputed king of comedy and the star of the show, Steve Brown.
Nobody can see that.
It says I'm sexy.
I'm even more happy now. Nobody can see that.
We only seen the M and the XY.
I feel like
it looked like you said you was taking ecstasy, man. I ain't.
Man, and the one who's bringing to you the ecstasy talk is a 1999 All-SEC linebacker, Marvin Constant, and the senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine and international sex symbol, Stephen M. Smith. Last but not least, a two-time national champion, a two-time USFL champion, and one of the baddest men to ever tote the rock, the Bo Scarborough.
Really, you go shake the picture. That has to be the weakest damn effects I've ever damn. Oh, I'm low budget and I don't have the effects, so I'm just gonna shake my picture.
Yes, yes. Well, folks, to see better effects, we need y'all jump in that super chat to make it happen.
You make me want to go grab one of my pictures off the wall and shake it.
Hey Marvin,
Yo,
to be real with you, I'm pretty sure that I probably have more pictures than you. But
I don't know. Marvin might have more mirrors than you. Oh, my bad.
But you got more money than me to get all on hung up. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta think about it. I have 32. I have 32 jerseys.
30,
and what that mean?
You know how much it costs to get each one of those things framed?
Yeah, I have several framed.
Exactly.
I'm the star. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, that kind of is a great segue for our next. Oh, now I'm the star. For one of the newest segments that we're bringing to the show this past Saturday before the game, after we had one of the best shows we ever had, we took it to the streets. And Steve Brown interviewed a lot of folks around campus. And tonight, we're going to show you one of those incredible interviews, and then Steve will talk to us a little bit about it once it's done.
I need your predictions. Score. What's your score?
67-0.
Ooh, what about you?
I'm going to say 60-7.
60-7. Wow, you?
35-14.
And you?
6-42.
All right, who's your favorite player?
Oh, God, I don't know.
All right, yours.
I don't know. It'll forever be Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, okay.
I know he's not here, but.
Okay.
I mean, Bryce Young did a lot for us, so even though he's not here now.
Okay, so they got a new quarterbacks plan this year. His name is Steve Brown. How do y'all think he's going to do today?
He better do good. Yeah, he better. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, have y'all heard about him?
I have.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good starting game for him.
Right.
To, really get into it. You can't judge him right off the first game. You got to give him him a minute to.
He's a really good player. So if you could recognize it, if you looked around and you know your ex-Bama players besides Bryce Young. Okay, is Bo Scarborough here?
I can say my
What's your name?
Carrie. I've been watching the Bama Standard. My name is Bentley, and I've been watching the Bama Standard. My name is Olivia, and I've been watching the Bama Standard. My name is Chloe, and I've been watching the Bama Standard.
Man, what a powerful moment there, Steve. How did you feel? That was great. Audience, give those ladies a round of applause. How did Steve Brown do at the game?
I just want to let you guys know, being the star of the show, I had to just take charge and talk to the ladies since the ladies wouldn't talk to them. Neither one of y'all, they didn't recognize you guys and they recognized me. So I took charge and did what I had to do. And the segment turned out as I expected. Wonderful. So yeah, I felt great. Felt great.
Wow. From the audience, Marvin Constant, Steve Brown went 1 for 38 for negative 30 yards. Wow. Not a good first outing.
My bad.
I tell you what, we need to talk about somebody who had a great first outing, and that was Jalen Milroe. It's time to start recapping this past game. We got about 10 minutes before our first guest arrives. One of the best things I heard is a saying that Jalen Milroe created, and he talked about a little bit in his interview. It's called LANK, Let All Naysayers Know. And I do believe this past Saturday, he was on full blast. Steve, what were people saying about him? What could Jalen Milroe not do?
Well, they say he couldn't pass. They said he couldn't read defenses. They said that he couldn't read coverages. He couldn't go through his progressions, and he proved everyone wrong. And he did it in good fashion. Not only did he prove them wrong, he set a record at Bama for the most, I would think, passing and scoring touchdowns in one game. So we're proud of this young man. And now I think the Bama nation is starting to see what we have in this quarterback, who they tried to, dog and embarrass and humiliate. And now, all of a sudden, people are starting to get on the bandwagon. So I think me and Marvin talked about it, and I think Bo mentioned it too. The only way we can turn that narrative around is to just win. That's it.
Win.
Kill your haters by winning.
Well, let's go to Bo, then we'll go to Marvin, and then Stephen. Tell us what your overall thoughts were. I mean, we were there together. It was something that I think we all.
With y'all.
It was something we all have been predicting the entire time, including Christian Miller, who was dead on. But Bo, what was your take?
I like to back it up to what Steve had mentioned at the game. We're during our time at the this weekend, and it really stood out to me. And it was something so simple that out of all these years, I never even thought of something that small. What Steve said, and he said, if you're a real Alabama fan, no matter who the quarterback should be, because if you believe in Coach Saban and winning all these games and what he had done in the past, now you questioning who he gonna start. And and like Steve Brown said, if you a true Alabama fan, you don't care who's the quarterback is. We just want to win.
Mm-hmm.
My overall thought of the game, I thought that we played a good game, but I thought we could have played with a little bit more poise. I thought that we could have been a little bit more disciplined. They came out on fire. I thought the defense played a good game, but they also could have played better. They didn't make some of the checks that they should have made during pre-snap. But it's the first game, so they seeing what they are and what need to be fixed. But I think Jalen Milroe, he did a fantastic job. Still a little bit more work to be done, as always, as a football player, Marvin. Every week you try to get better at something. And, Coach Saban mentioned in his interview, he's a hardworking guy. He's a guy that want to do the things right, and a guy that want to learn and not make mistakes. And we have to eliminate the penalties, pre-snap penalties. And we didn't have that many this past game, but, usually there are games where we have 0 or maybe 1 or 2. But I think the offense played pretty solid. I thought that the offensive line could have did way much better than they did. with having the type of guys that they had on that offensive line. I understand that this was their first real game all playing together. But when we run the ball with that type of offensive line, when that running back get to that line of scrimmage, he should at least have 1 yard, 1.5 or 2 yards without being touched by the guy pushing, doubling up to the linebacker or whatever, acing up to that backside linebacker. And to get pushed and to make it look like that offense is like the O-line is moving, you know what I'm saying, the offense and give these guys a chance to make their reads and bust these holes. And what I really, really like is Justice Haynes got in the game at the end of the game. He ran the ball so efficiently. He ran the ball with passion. He was determined that he was gonna get yards. He was fighting for yards. He didn't go down off of one contact. It took 3 to 4 guys to get him down. And if the offensive line would have not got pushed one of the guys got pushed into the backfield, if that wouldn't have happened and he would have been able to pick up his block, it looked like it was a deuce block to me. It looked like it was a deuce block up to the linebacker, which he couldn't do. And that's the guy that ended up hitting him in the backfield, which he bounced off and still got yards. And I think our special team, did a great job as well. Just we need to get Kool-Aid from back there.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we'll expound on that a little bit later. Marvin, what did you think? Were there some players that stood out to you on the defense? Got to give a shout out to Chris Braswell, Quadarius Robinson. They had themselves a game, but everybody's been waiting. Everybody's been waiting since Saturday to hear your overall take in game one. Give us your thoughts.
First and foremost, I want to say, shout out to the team on a great win. Deonte Lawson, man, listen, kid played lights out, man. I'm looking forward to seeing him and Dallas Turner take that next step this Saturday against Texas. Now, the only way that's going to happen is if Jaheim Otis does his job. You need somebody in the middle of that defensive line who can command that double team. If we have 1 or 2 guys commanding double teams, you'll see so much of a better performance from our linebackers in terms of the pressure. And again, when you're getting pressure, you get interceptions, you get turnovers. And I think that's what fueled that defense on Saturday, being able to get that little bit of pressure, which we need to see more of them because Texas is going to be a lot bigger of a challenge for them. But I'm looking forward to seeing them take that next step. Overall, though, I was thoroughly impressed. Job well done. Guys made the necessary steps in game one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stephen and Smith, you are the one that can seal the deal. What was your overall take? You got a grade. If there's anybody you saw that stood out to you the most, we hadn't already mentioned, let it be known.
Well, first and foremost, I thought Jalen Milroe did a phenomenal job. I mean, it was excitement from the first play, took a broken play, made it beautiful. A guy that, like Steve mentioned, 5 touchdown passes with 5 touchdowns total, 3 touchdown passes, 2 runs. The first player to do that in Bama history. He's also tied for 4th all time in school history with 5 total scores responsible for in one game. So Milroe went off. I was happy for the wide receivers. They did not drop the football. Isaiah Bond caught the ball. Jermaine Burton did not drop the ball. Amari Nyblack at tight end, touchdown reception right there. So receivers got involved. But I thought the big thing here, guys, was not just the linebackers, but I thought the defensive secondary played well. Terrion Arnold played a good game. Caleb Downs led the team with 8 tackles. So there was a lot of good stuff. Jalen Key had a pick, and he'll continue to grow and evolve there where the defense is concerned. I thought Bama could have shut them out. There was a chance to do that. Ticky-tack penalty kind of prevented that from happening. But at the end of the day, good game one. But now the focus is on here comes Texas and Sarkisian and the Horn. So here is a big matchup where now we're about to see for real what this team is.
Absolutely. And what better way to transition to our next segment than what you just said. But before we do that, got to give a shout out to our man, Jimmy Clay, dropping $25 super chat. Hey, Jimmy Clay is arguably the #1 fan of the Bama Standard, or definitely top 3. He is given just over and beyond. Man, we just appreciate you being here, Jimmy. Other
Yeah.
than Jimmy, we got Big Bill from New York with the $5
Hey.
super chat.
Hey, Justin, before we move on, I just want to make one other point in reference to what Bo said. You know, he was talking about Kool-Aid returning punts. The reason why this is so important is because you want to flip the field. When the opposing team is punting the ball, in most cases, they're punting to flip the field. So as a defense or the receiving team, it is your job to advance that ball as far as you can so that you can get yourself potentially from a bad field position spot. Because most of the time they want to pin you inside the 10, 5-yard line. But in order to successfully return punts, you need a guy with those first two steps. They got to be quick steps. You know, you look at the David Palmers, the Freddie Millens, the Javier Arenases of the world, the Christian Jones of the world. Their first two steps are amazing. Kool-Aid doesn't have that first two steps like that. And that's what it takes to be a successful punt returner. And I know we have somebody who has those first two steps that can do this because, again, the last thing we want is to be pinned in bad field position.
And let me piggyback off that. Not only that, I understand that Coach Saban, and I'm not questioning our great coach at all. I know he likes to put people in positions so they can up their status when it comes to being drafted or whatever. But to me, I think it's also playing a really, really dangerous game when you have somebody like Kool-Aid, who is a starter on at defensive back, trying to run punts back. And the thing is, I can understand if it was a Javier Arenas or somebody like that with a quick 2 first steps or whatever, but he's not that guy. I've seen Bama players go in there and take it to the house plenty of time. He's never done that. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that his steps are really not as quick as others because he got his clock clean. He got his clock completely clean because he's not that guy. But, you know, hopefully he'll improve. And, of course, you know, I'm rooting for the team, but right now, I don't think he's that guy. I think we need to go to somebody else as far as punt return, let him rest up and concentrate on being a lockdown corner.
You know, like my coach used to say, punt returners are pretty much like they're in a phone booth when they catch that ball. So you got to be able to operate in space. That's where those first two steps come into play. And they got to be quick. Otherwise, you're going to get your clock clean.
I just have to add something to the question that you said before that I didn't get a chance to answer because of the bell ring. Our running backs also need to learn to pick up blocks. They missed a lot of blocks.
Jam Miller, for instance, got
blocks. So I just want
got Jalen
put that
destroyed.
Yeah, we missed a lot of blocks that we should have picked up and that we didn't, and that got the quarterback sacked. They man was making the tackle two times, as a matter of fact, like he said twice. But they also missed blocks but the ball was gone already. But they need to work on more blocking drills. Marvin and Steve, they summed it up for me with Kool-Aid.
Absolutely. And we can definitely retouch that later on in the show. But listen, it's Texas week, and we actually got a guy from enemy territory here tonight. Straight from the bowels of Austin, Sports Illustrated and TexasLonghorn.com writer Matt Galatzan. Welcome to the Bama Standard. Glad to have you here from Austin. Welcome in, brother.
Hey guys, how's it going? I appreciate you having me on. I haven't gotten to do something like this in a while, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm also a big fan of Bo. I watched him a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't like me. Okay.
Hey, Matt, before you get started, can I get a friendly wager, 100, 200?
I mean, if I could afford that, probably, but it's a little too early in the year for me to do that right now. Let's see what happens on Saturday.
Oh, man, I like betting.
Yeah, you know, I just, after what I saw on Saturday from Texas, I'm not prepared to put a penny on them right now. So let's see how it goes.
How long have you been covering Texas?
I started in January 21, right when Sark got the job is when I picked up the site. But honestly, I grew up a Texas fan. I didn't go there, but I grew up a Texas fan. My whole family went there. I was around it my whole life. And then I kind of broke off. I ended up going to Ole Miss. Sorry. I know that's probably not the best for here. But, you know, I got back to Texas when I got into this field, and I covered the Cowboys for a little while too, and got into the college game in January. But yeah, it's been about 3 years. So I've been here since Sark day one.
All right.
I've loved it.
I want you to run a story for me from the 2005 Texas National Championship game. Starting middle linebacker Aaron Harris refused to take my bet. He won't even return my calls anymore.
I wouldn't either.
I'll see if I can reach out to him and maybe get a quote.
Well, the problem was the calls will all collect.
That's only out of the state of Mississippi, sir.
Okay, so sidebar. I know everybody says Miami 2001, whatever, is the best team ever, and they probably are. But on the field, I don't know that any of those teams could have ever beaten Vince Young. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Bold statement. We like that here.
Big Vince Young stan. I think he was unbeatable.
So what you're saying is, let me ask you this. Do you think any of the historic Alabama teams with great defenses would have ever beat Vince Young? Now, don't lie to yourself.
I don't. I really don't. I think that if any team had a chance, it probably would have been, one of the Tua teams maybe, just because that offense was so good. But I don't think it didn't matter what defense he threw at Vince. I don't think anybody was going to beat him.
You know what? So you know what? Who's to say Jalen Milroe is not a Vince Young 2.0?
He may be. I haven't seen enough from him, but
you will see it Saturday.
You will.
Well, hey,
I'm actually a big fan of Jalen Milroe. He scares the hell out of me. I mean, have you seen that dude's arms? He's a linebacker, and he's back there.
Like those,
it's crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
well, that's actually a great place to pick up on, Matt. Many fans, especially from in our fan base, and analysts were taken by surprise in regards to Milroe's performance this past Saturday. What was your overall take of what you saw from him, and what kind of problems does he present to Texas?
Well, I mean, overall, he's so dynamic, and that's really, really hard to counter for any defense. I don't care who it is. Pete Kwiatkowski is used to the kind of Pac-12 West Coast, style stuff, and things were better last year, but that was because Gary Patterson was around. I don't know that they're going to necessarily have an answer for that. DeMarvion Overshown being gone is going to be a huge problem. Jalen Ford's great, don't get me wrong, and they've got some good young guys, but Milroe's fast, Milroe's powerful, he's got a cannon. The way that he just kind of dismantled that defense last week, I was just kind of like, okay, well, if Texas is going to have a chance, they're going to have to get after him quick, and I just don't know that they're going to be able to do that against Bama's offensive line or not. They didn't really show me a whole lot in terms of pressure against Rice last week, so it's going to be real tough to. I mean, I think Bama is going to dominate the trenches, and I think that's going to favor Milroe, obviously, and it's really hard to see Texas getting after him a whole lot because I mean they had a lot to fix, and last week was not the performance that I wanted to see out of them.
And so what is it that you think Texas is bringing to the table that's going to remotely give them a chance to challenge the mighty Tide?
Okay, so my opinion on this has flipped in the last week. I'm not going to lie. Over the offseason, all we heard was how good Texas's offensive line was, how good their receivers were, how good Quinn Ewers has gotten over the summer and all this stuff. And I just didn't see it on Saturday. I didn't. I think that if Texas is going to have a chance but let me back up a little bit. I thought the same thing last year, and they fared a lot better last year than I anticipated. I thought Bama was going to come into Austin and just completely dump truck them and go 55-0 and get out of there. But obviously that didn't happen. So, maybe the adjustments will help. Maybe, I don't know. I don't see anybody on that offensive line outside of Kelvin Banks and DJ Campbell, if he can sort of put stuff together. I really don't see anybody on that offensive line that's talented enough to go up against Bama's defensive line. I think that's a huge problem. Texas's receivers are as good as anybody in the country. It's any group in the country. The problem is Ewers having enough time to get them the ball. You guys saw what A.D. Mitchell could do at Georgia. Xavier Worthy is that guy. He's electric. But one of the things that they tried to work on all off season was the Ewers to Worthy deep ball, because that was a major problem last year. They could not connect on it. And it was a huge source of frustration for Worthy. It was a huge source of frustration for Ewers. And you could tell by the end of the season that Worthy had just about had enough, because he was running his ass off and they just could not connect. And, they talked about how they had worked to fix it all offseason. And on Saturday, it was more the same. I'm sure y'all remember Quandre Diggs. He plays for the Seahawks now. He even came after Ewers on Twitter and was like, if he had been accurate, X would have had 200 yards, and he's not wrong. Like, Ewers overthrew him a bunch of times. And Ewers played well, but for somebody who was the number 1 rated quarterback of all time, basically coming out of high school, to not be able to connect on a deep ball with a receiver as talented as Xavier Worthy after 2 years and 2 off seasons of working with the guy, I don't know how much more practice you can get before you can start hitting that thing. So
okay, so let me say this. I watched that game as well, and I got 2 things out of it. Ewers is injury prone. I noticed he was limping a lot during the game, and it seems like to me, once people started laying a hat on him, he started overthrowing everybody. He is past. So it tells me that he really doesn't like a lot of physicality, because now I don't know what the people in Texas were thinking. I guess they thought when he cut that mullet, he turned to God, but apparently that didn't happen, because those little guys from Rice were laying the wood, and he was literally throwing the ball all over the place, but to the right receiver. So we did watch the same game. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think he can get a little rattled when he starts to get hit. I don't know if injury prone is necessarily the right word, because he was getting hammered in that game, and he took the hit that he took at the end of the first half. I saw it from the press box. It was dead on center in my eye. It was a big hit. And
it was because that dude hit him so hard, he started reaching for his mullet, but he found that it wasn't there. I'm like,
yeah, the whole mullet deal. I was like, it's a personality change, whatever, blah blah blah. He probably lost some NIL dollars over it, but I think the thing that got people most excited about Ewers, honestly, was that he cut so much weight and he got in so much better shape, and he looked great. He looked like the prototypical statuesque number 1 overall quarterback throughout the summer. And then he gets out on the field and he gets hit a couple times and he kind of looked a little unsure of himself. And maybe that's just first game jitters or whatever. And I don't know. But I also didn't expect him to come out last year against Alabama and play that well in the first quarter until Dallas Turner just absolutely destroyed him. But, if they get after him again early, I think it's probably going to end up being a long day for Texas again.
Hey, Matt, do you know he's still having nightmares about Dallas Turner? He probably has PTSD. Just tell him the tide is coming. His ass ain't off the hook. Not only
that, I want you to understand this, and I want the Texas fans to understand this, and then we're going to turn it back over to Justin. We had Pete Golding. We didn't have a defense last year, so Pete Golding made every quarterback we played look great. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Texas's quarterback, but the defense he ran, it just pretty much wasn't for the type of players that we had. It wasn't. No pressure, no nothing. So pretty much Dallas probably got to him on his own partners, he just doing something got to him. But whatever Pete Golden dialed up, it was terrible, and that's why Texas looked so good. So now we're going to see what happens this year. Go ahead, Justin.
I wanted to turn over to Stephen Smith. I believe he had a question.
I have
Stephen.
one question for Matt.
Go ahead, Bo. Go ahead.
What do you think about Steve Sarkisian?
I think he is a fantastic offensive mind. I think he's a fantastic recruiter. I think he knows how to build the right kind of roster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to see if he can win a big game. It's been 3 years. I've seen a lot of failing in big moments, double-digit leads blown. But he's a great guy. He says all the right things. Recruits love him. I think he needs his signature win, and he damn near had it last year in Austin.
Yeah.
They still couldn't, pull through. Maybe Bryce Young was down in the end zone, but I don't want to get into a whole argument about that because it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, you also have to think about it. The guys that are playing are actually not his recruits.
They're starting to be now.
Yeah, starting to be.
They were not the first year. They were not, for the most part, the second year. But there's some guys now this year that are making a big difference. I'm a Sark believer. Let me.
Yeah.
I just need to see him actually prove me right because, for example, my dad and my brother might be the two biggest Texas fans on the planet. And every Saturday they call me after the game and they ask me what's going on. What did Sark say? What's that? But they are the biggest. My brother specifically is the biggest Sark detractor I think I've ever met. And every single Saturday I have a little bit less to argue with him about because I'm like, well, he still hasn't done it yet. So we'll see.
So Matt, so here's my thought. I know Texas has got Bo Davis as a defensive line coach, and Bo Davis was once at Alabama. I mean, do you see him maybe mixing up pressures here in this game? I know you talked about the defensive line, not quite sure if they can handle Bama's offensive line. But what do you see Bo Davis dialing up here in terms of the D-line pressure?
I definitely think he's going to get creative. I'm a big Bo Davis fan.
Me too.
I think he's amazing. If whatever happened with him at Alabama, I don't know, but that dude is a stud. And he'll come up with something. They've got talent there. Tavondre Sweat is, maybe the best defensive lineman in the Big 12. Barron Sorrell might be the best pass rusher in the Big 12. But he's going to have to get creative. He's going to have to figure out a way to get some of the young guys involved too. Justice Finkley, and both had big off seasons, and they're expecting a lot out of those guys. Alfred Collins needs to put more than one good game together. But they need to figure out a way to get after Jalen Milroe before he can get his feet under him. And I don't know that they're going to be able to do that. I don't know that they have enough depth and bodies there to compete with that Bama line. And if anybody can figure out a way to do it, it's Bo Davis. But I don't know that they have the pieces for it. And let me back up and say one other thing about Dallas Turner. I still have PTSD from Dallas Turner on 4 occasions. One being that Ewers hit. The other one, as I said, I graduated from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember that face mask on Jackson Dart, but I thought
yeah,
rip his head off, and my life flashed before my eyes. That was the whole Ole Miss season right there, almost. So that dude is going to be something else at the next level. So if he's matched up on Kelvin Banks all day, I'll feel a little bit better. But Bama's not dumb enough to leave him on Kelvin Banks all day. So.
Well, I can tell you right now, tell all of the Texas fans, go ahead and cancel your watch parties. Don't waste your money on alcohol and wings because the tide is coming. Y'all about to get y'all asses handed to y'all. Listen, man, we have a real defensive coordinator now, okay? He knows how to really motivate these guys. This defense is going to be smothering. You're going to see them work those inside A gaps, take that run away, forcing them to the outside to the strength of this defense. Dallas Turner, Lawson. It's over at that point. We got safeties who can come down in the box. Listen, between Downs and Malachi, it is a matchup nightmare for Texas across the board trying to go against this defense. Y'all do not have the pieces.
A week ago, I probably would have argued with you about that, but after watching them against Rice on Saturday, I'm scared shitless for Texas this week. I don't know how they're going to stop all these guys. I really don't.
Yeah.
I had my prediction in the offseason was that Texas was going to win by a touchdown, maybe 10 points. Now I'm pretty sure they're going to lose by 2 touchdowns. So unless they make a big jump from what they did last week, and unless they figure out a way to start fast, which they definitely did not do last week, and they had a problem with last year too, except against Oklahoma, I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong.
The tune is up.
I think that one of the things that gave Texas a big advantage last year against Alabama was the hype, the college game day, the home environment, all that stuff. And, Bama just hadn't quite gotten their feet under them yet, as can happen early in the season. I think Nick Saban's going to remember all that, and he's going to have those dudes ready to roll. And I just don't see it. I really hope I'm wrong, because my dad's 76 years old, and if he could see Texas beat Bama once in the modern era, I think it'd make him happy. But I don't know.
We don't do make a wish around here.
Y'all only have one thing that y'all can hang in with us on, and that's just the heat. That's the only thing.
That's probably true. And a big
thing other than that, y'all across the board is unmatched. Is no one can guard no one on Alabama from
I don't disagree with you. I think that the one thing that a lot of people discounted this offseason, including myself, was, and it's kind of a dumb thing to discount too when you look back at it in hindsight, Bijan Robinson being gone, he was the whole offense last year, the whole identity of the offense. Xavier Worthy's probably the best receiver in the Big 12, but they couldn't get him the ball last year. Without him, it's a totally different deal. It's so different. And had they had him against Rice last week, they win 51-3. If against Bama, if he's still there, I give him a fighting chance, because he's the most electric player we've seen, almost ever. And he was such a difference maker. But they don't have a running back like that on the roster. Jonathan Brooks is really good. Jaden Blue is really talented.
Hey, Matt.
Could be, but we don't know.
Hey, Matt.
That's a big problem.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
That is all called wishful thinking. Y'all asses about to come to Tuscaloosa. You're about to play in a place you've never played in, an atmosphere like in your lives. The University of Texas is about to get a rude awakening, baby.
I mean, most of the players who've played, most of the players who have played an environment like this for Texas, I mean, that was about a decade and a half ago when they were in College Station. So there's nothing like that in the Big 12, and I don't deny that. Once the lights come on and they hear Sweet Home Alabama and the crowd's going nuts and all that stuff, it's going to be a real eyes wide open moment. They're going to be like, holy shit. So, and even the Arkansas game that they played a couple years ago in Fayetteville, I mean, Arkansas people hate Texas for whatever reason, because they don't even really play anymore.
Because of Texarkana?
They were deers in headlights back then. They say it's a different team. They say the culture's changed, and they're right.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different deal. And Bama's a whole different deal. So, we'll see what happens.
Real quick, I want to get to this super chat before I make my point. Crimson Kings 499. Let them know, Marvin, this defense is about to suffocate Texas, and these backers are out for blood. Time to collect, baby. Roll Tide, roll. Now, Matt, you talked about mismatches, and everybody else is kind of downplaying it. One of the biggest things that our biggest players that has been spoken about the most has been Xavier Worthy. Of course, I mean, he deserves it, right? But other than him, I feel like there's a mismatch if you can get Jatavian Sanders involved. Can you talk about what kind of a problem he can present to this secondary?
Man, he is a mismatch nightmare. He runs like a receiver. He jumps like, I mean, he could play power forward in the NBA. He's one of the most athletic people I've ever seen. But the problem is getting him the football, which they could not do last Saturday. He had the one touchdown where, he was running across the middle of the field wide open, but there were multiple times where they misconnect, or they couldn't connect with him. And I thought that was a big deal. When Texas was at their best last year, it was because he was involved and he was making plays in the middle of the field, which allowed Xavier Worthy and Jordan Whittington to do what they were doing on the outside. And again, what it all comes down to for me is Ewers having enough time to get him the ball. I think that if he has enough time to get him the ball, he could do some things in the middle of that defense, just because, and this isn't a knock against Bama. It's a compliment to Sanders. When he's involved in playing his best and they're getting him the ball, he is not the best, probably the second best tight end in the country. We all know what Brock Bowers is at Georgia, and he's an absolute monster, and and all that. And Jatavion's not that. He could be potentially, but he's not that yet. He could be a big X factor for Texas if they can get him involved. But I'm a big believer in the trenches. I think that when, one team's dominating the trenches, it's especially when Bama's doing it the way that they're historically known for doing it, it's game over, man. I don't think they're going to have enough time to get him the ball.
So Matt, as much as a difference maker as Bijan Robinson was, and he was, is there not like a running back by committee that could kind of, I guess, make up for that or try to make up for that? So
they have the talent. They have the talent in the running back room. It's as good of a running back room talent-wise as I think they've ever had. In terms of depth, at least. I mean, they've got 4 guys that could start anywhere. Maybe not at Bama, but like anywhere in the Big 12 at least, and maybe anywhere else in the rest of the country. But I mean, Cedric Baxter is an absolute beast, and you saw it. There was one run he had against Rice in the first half where he broke it off, and I mean, he looked electric. But then he got hurt. He fell on the ball and got they were being cautious and they kept him out the rest of the game. But and John Brooks has proved he can be a difference maker. Keelan Robinson, former Bama guy, if he gets his hand on the ball and he gets out in open space, look out.
Yeah.
But there's not a guy in that running back room who can make something out of nothing, at least that I've seen yet. And Bijan can make something out of nothing. I'm sorry, my dog's barking at himself over here in the background, but
he's trying to warn you.
I hear your dog, and he keeps saying rat poison. Poison. And that's what I believe that's what you're feeding us, rat poison. As Nick Saban would say, you're gonna probably beat us by this and that. No, we're gonna be ready for that regardless, so I ain't buying it.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, trust me, I really hope that Texas comes out there and can make it.
I know you do.
Game, but I just I'm a realist. It's not rat poison, it's nothing like that. I just don't believe it yet.
Well, Matt, we know your time is running short with us. Real quick, Crimson Kings is back again for 199 Super Chat. I'll be there to Rammer Jimmy, y'all back to Austin. I don't put a lot of stock in the opening games. I think that's when everybody's just trying to figure things out. They're not going to play at their best. And I think great teams always rise to the occasion in big games, which this week is a big game. But if you would, before you leave us, talk about what the atmosphere has been like since the game last year where, like you said, Texas had it within their grasp. What has the attitude and mindset been like amongst players and coaches since that time? And then if you would, to close us out, give us your prediction.
Sure. When Sark got to Austin, Tom Herman had left an absolute dumpster fire. And I don't think Sark gets enough credit for the way that he's turned things around there. The players did not like Tom Herman, and there were a lot of guys that were ready to get out of there. And he's totally transformed the locker room and totally transformed the roster. And it's at a point now where, like, it really is one unit, and it really is a big family environment where they all care and they're all battling for each other. And that's something Texas hadn't had in a long time. And after the success they had last year, especially against Bama, where they said, okay, we can compete with the big boys of the SEC if we really play at our best. I think they're going to be confident. They're not going to go in there and say like, oh, we're going to beat the brakes off of Bama, blah, blah, blah. They have nothing but respect for Nick Saban and Alabama, and they know the challenge that they're facing. But the way that they ended last year looked tough. But I really do think that they got better and better as a result of that. They know what mistakes they made. They know what they needed to fix. And I know that they started slow last week. I still think that they're going to be confident in what they have on the roster going against Alabama. I still don't think it's going to be enough, but they're not going to be afraid of the matchups. What they're going to be afraid of is, like I said earlier, when the lights come on and Sweet Home Alabama's playing and all the fans are going ape shit. That's when I think you're going to really see what kind of toughness Texas has. Man,
I'm getting you ready for what's coming.
I've been to Tuscaloosa. I know exactly what's coming.
Y'all gonna hear this all night because we gonna keep our foot up y'all ass.
I actually think that this ends up being a pretty low scoring game. I think Texas does have a really good defense. Score prediction, before the season started, I probably would have said, 27 to 20, maybe Texas. Now, I'm probably going to say 27-13 Alabama. I don't think Texas, unless they show something that I haven't seen yet and that I couldn't see last week, I don't think that they're going to be able to get anything going offensively. It's going to be real tough. Actually, let's say 31-17 Alabama. Let's say 31-17 Alabama.
You don't have that much faith in your team that you're going to pick our team to win?
Hey, man.
It's like Don Parker says right here. Oh, the rat poison. Thanks for the $5, Don.
It's not my team.
I've been listening to that the whole time, and I understand very well what he's doing. He's laying that rat poison down. However, Coach Saban warned us about you.
I don't think they say shit about me. So
yeah, he specifically said before you bring that guy on, watch him. He's gonna try to spread the rat poison. And I'm like, that's why I gave you the sign. We don't like you, which we love you. You do a great job. Thank you for coming on, man. But we know you're spreading that rat poison.
if Nick actually knows who I am, I can die happy, and I've done my job.
Nice. Yeah.
He knows.
Well, Matt, you're with Sports Illustrated. You're with TexasLonghorns.com. For the folks who are watching right now, can you tell them how else they can find you before you head out?
Yes, sir. It's actually longhornscountry.com. It's SI.com, Fan Nation Network. I'm also on Twitter at Matt Galatzan. And that's pretty much it. I love being able to come on here and do this kind of stuff with y'all.
Thank you.
I also cover Texas A&M. So if y'all have me back for that game later in the year, I'll be here. And I know a whole hell of a lot about Ole Miss as well, so we can chat it up then too if you want.
You'll be getting a phone call, brother. We greatly appreciate you. Chat, give him a round of applause too.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Don't you ever do it. Hey, don't you ever do that again. You saw what he did, Justin? He did the little thing. I saw it. See?
I saw that.
Oh, he tried to sneak it in on us?
Yeah.
A&M game right there, Matt.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware of what you do, Bo. Don't worry about it. I have no bad memories of that.
Matt, I know you do a lot of covering and stuff, but I don't know if you know about the two scariest words in college football. Have you heard them? It's roll tide. Yeah. All right.
I actually think that's absolutely true, so I won't argue that.
Hey, man, thanks for coming on,
Matt.
man.
We greatly appreciate you, brother. Been a lot of fun. Man, that was
y'all don't know how long I've been looking forward to this game.
Shut up, Marvin.
Oh, wow.
Marvin, you scared Matt to death, right?
You really scared him.
Hey, listen, man. The things that I wanted to see this defense get back to doing, I seen a lot of that on Saturday. I actually came home and rewatched the game when I came back home. I had some free time yesterday, and I rewatched. And I seen a lot of those little things that defenses have to do well in order to be successful. Because if you're not gap sound and you miss out on small little things, it can be the difference between second and long or second and short. But I seen those things, so I'm excited now.
Justin, you thought I would leave in the show? You kicked me out.
It looked like you're on your way out. Like, you know what? F these people. I'm out.
Yeah, he grabbed the baby and everything. Let's go.
I know, right? hey, guys, something I'm excited.
And He-Man are out.
He's not a baby. And he's not a baby. That's a grown man. I took him to the doctor today, and they said that boy in the 99th percentile, man.
Yeah, four-star already. That's what's up.
You took your homeboy out then, because that's a little man.
Yeah, anytime he do something wrong, I have him do 5 push-ups.
I like it. Well, guys, I'm pretty excited about our next segment. It's where we involve the fans. Each week, we bring on the top fan of the Bama Standard. And if you want to get involved in that, the best way to do it is email us, thebamastandard@gmail.com. And tonight, we got one of the biggest fans. He's been with us since day one. He's also been involved with what Stephen N. Smith is doing. He's one of the biggest Bama fans there is out there. And that is the one, the only James Knox. Welcome in, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mike. Yes, sir.
James, welcome to the show, brother. I know you've got a lot to say. You always do in the chat. Well, you get to be here in person now. So go right ahead. What questions do you have for the panel or maybe an individual? Show is yours now.
Yeah, for Bo and Marvin, first and foremost, I guess. What did Drake grade the coaches for us? Did you see was the intel correct? You know, one of the biggest things when we won the first 3 or 4 national championships, everybody said we had our opponents out scouted, and we had ourselves self scouted well. I think they lost a whole lot of advantage in those departments with all the coaching changes. If y'all just give y'all opinion on what y'all seen from the operation standpoint.
I think the defense and Coach Steele did a great job. Again, I was looking for those in-game adjustments. That's one of the things that I care the most about, because as a defense, if you can't make good in-game adjustments, you're never going to win a game, because offense is going to constantly evolve throughout the game to find your weaknesses on defense. So if you're not addressing those, it's not a good situation. So I went back and rewatched the game, and I seen a lot of those in-game adjustments. With the exception of the late touchdown, everything else, spot on. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can take that next step against Texas. Better opponent, better quality of athletes. We get through this week, it'll tell us a lot about where we stand.
Oh, you're on mute, sir.
For me, I think the offense did a phenomenal job. The only thing that I would like to see is the running backs run between the tackles, north and south, instead of trying to get to the perimeter. But other than that, I think that the coach did a great job by balancing the offense out from what they did. And I also paid attention to the 3 tight ends that we have. They all have something different. It's probably one of the best tight end group that we done had at Alabama for a long time. And these guys can do different things. And most importantly, what they can do, they can block on the perimeter on the outside zone when you're running towards that side, especially when you're running towards the close side and you got a tight end that can come off the ball and actually block somebody and does a job. And but for me, I think the offense did a great job. My only problem was I just want to see them run between the tackle north and south like we always been doing. But other than that, those guys and the running back picking up their blocks. Other than that, those guys ran hard. The receivers ran their route full speed. I never saw neither receiver walk. Every play that they ran the ball, that they ran they route full speed, like they were getting the ball, even though they know the ball wasn't coming to them. They still ran full speed. I totally love that. I like the way how the offense has played. So for me, those are the only 2 things: running back picking up their blocking and running between the tackle north and south.
Okay.
For the
James,
rest of
great
the panel,
question.
Steve and both Steven and Steven, y'all did the on campus stuff before the game, pregame. I love that. I'm sorry, I was mad I missed Steven's live when he did it on for the other network, but I love those. Just tell us about that experience, because I would love to get down there to Tuscaloosa at some point.
But you said the other network.
No, he was talking about Steven. When Steven
M.
I know there is no other network, sir.
Yeah. It's all family, though. We all family. Yeah, my bad.
We are the only network that matter. Tell them again, Steve.
That's true.
Shut up, Marvin.
But the experience, James, was awesome, because I didn't think that it would be so many people packed out in the campus for MTSU. But that just shows you, it being a night game, it being the first game of the season, folks loving the LED lighting feature, so the experience was outstanding. Saban even stepped up his game on the food this time. We had some great food to eat inside there, for the first game. But as far as the game on the field itself, agreeing with Marvin and Bo, really like what the defense did out there. Deonte Lawson is a grown man, and we saw that firsthand. If he continues, this young brother could be a first-round pick at that linebacker position. At the defensive secondary, Terrion Arnold showed me a lot. He can play at that boundary corner spot. I know we had some guys nicked up from the first game, but those guys are okay. We'll see tomorrow the status on Jihad Campbell at linebacker. We'll see if he'll be able to go against Texas. I know he recently had his knee scoped, but we'll see if Campbell can go this week.
Hey, Stephen M. Smith, I want you to comment on something.
Okay.
A lot of people don't understand this, but I'm going to say it. This team has a chance to be special. This team has to go down as one of the greatest teams in Alabama history. Now, the past 3-4 years, the talent has been there. All these 5-stars, greatest recruiting classes ever. But the coaches were not of the best quality. So we didn't get to see their full body of work. Now, with Tommy and Coach Steele, this team has a chance to be amazing. And I think they're going to take that step this week.
I think they do. And I think the biggest thing is going to be here, the continuation of growth between Milroe and Tommy Rees. That's going to be something nice right there, because I think the biggest thing with Milroe, and the more the season goes, he'll get this. When do I speed up my process versus when do I slow it down and take my time? And with more time on the job, that brother is going to get that. We see the potential right now. But Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees, I've said this before, Nick Saban got rid of Bill and Pete at the last second of good time. He got rid of them in the last second of good time.
I believe everything you're saying, and I'm starting to see now that as far as this Milroe situation and me, fighting the fans and all that, I'm sure y'all know about that. Just defending his kid or whatever. Now you're starting to see fans doing the same thing I was doing initially when other fans start saying negative things about him on social media. Now they're starting to speak out. So it lets me know I was right all along about, our fans dogging our players, no matter who it is. But now the fans are getting it now. But of course, he's winning. So, we'll see what happens. But I'm just happy about the whole situation. And Steven, you said something that I've been echoing a long time. The more snaps he takes, just like with any position, he's going to get better and better and better. And I think by far he is the quarterback on our roster that has the highest ceiling by far, because So
hey, Steve. I just noticed the comment from Ephraim Davis. Did anybody notice that Steele and Rees are in the same booth? A lot of coordinators do that for a reason, because it can help one versus the other when they're not on the field in terms of what they can see. That is a huge advantage as a defensive coordinator when you have an offensive coordinator sitting beside you, because he can tell you what they're trying to do in different personnel groupings, because he has that same mindset. So that is huge, man, that they are in the same booth together.
No, Marvin. They were in the same booth because I had a booth, because I'm the star of the show.
Just when I'm trying to give you credit, you go too damn far.
But yet he stepped out from that booth to party with the MTSU band last Saturday. Pretty entertaining stuff.
Go back to Marvin's point. Also, the reason why both of these two guys are in the same booth, look at the trust that they have in these players. They don't have to babysit these players. These players know what they're doing. They know exactly what they do. I mean, Dallas Turner at media day said to my face, Kevin Steele, let us run this. You don't got to run this. We run this. So the fact that Kevin Steele has to trust in that entire defense led by Dallas Turner, and you're seeing the trust that the offensive guys led by Jalen Milroe, J.C. Latham, what they have in Tommy Rees, those two can afford to sit in the booth because they know we ain't babysitting guys. We're coaching grown men that know what they're doing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's always been like that. The players always ran the team and came to the sideline and tell the coach, like, hey, this is what we're doing. We think we should do this, and they'll go with it. Or we'll sit up there and draw a play on the sideline that we never even ran and go out there and run it. You know what I mean? That's how much trust that they put into it. That's why Coach Saban used to tell her, this is y'all team. This is not my team. That's why I told y'all once before, that's why the facility is built the way it's built. players at the bottom, coaches at the top. Coaches not allowed in the locker room. You know what I mean? But players can go up top, but coaches not allowed in the locker room, come down there. And it's been like that for a while. But like Marvin said, having these guys in the booth together and asking them, you know what I'm saying, questions about what they can do and what they see, I think that's a great thing. I think that we could have been doing that because we had the type of leaders that we had. Reuben Foster, me, Jonathan Allen, Reggie Ragland, Eddie Jackson, all these guys, Ross Pillsbury, Bozeman, all these guys, all of us were leaders. It was just that both of our coordinator was on the field, and it just made it a little easier. But I also agree with Marvin with that one as well.
Yeah, I was happy
Absolutely.
to see some of the position coaches animated on the sidelines. It's like they was getting their voices. I remember that old special teams coach that used to always be on the sideline going crazy. And I like to see that too.
Bobby Williams.
Yeah.
I miss
James?
old Bobby, man. Bobby used to say some stuff too, boy. Bobby used to say some stuff.
Yeah, he did.
Well, James, we got time for one more question from you. You are a top fan.
Yeah. Question,
Make
statement.
it a good one, brother. What you got for us before we
I just
close
more
it
of a
out?
statement, I guess. I just appreciate y'all watching Alabama for years. My father from down in Dothan, Slocum, Geneva County, where the Henderson kid from. So that's Auburn country, and I ain't never hate Auburn until they played Alabama. But, watching the shows and everything, watching y'all, it's more like seeing how the sausage was cooked with Coach Saban, man. And it got scary sometimes. It gets scary sometimes. Hear what's going on in the background.
And James, isn't this a fun show to watch though? It's football
sir.
and everything else. You like it?
Sir.
Well, James, do me a favor. Let others know about the Bama Standard. You got to let them know, man, because they're missing out. We're not a bunch of uptight people. We're just here having a good time, and we have and four of us have one big thing in common, and that is we don't like Marvin. But it's cool. We enjoy the show, man. So yeah.
Marvin's team with big Chris Samuels now, that my man and Sean Alexander. They number 2 when that new football game come out, when the new NCAA come out, they number 2 right behind the 92 team.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
I rose with them boys, man. I'm mad we messed around and wasted Chris's pro career up here in Washington. But that on the gone now.
Hey man, we appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, James, so much for being our top fan this week and for supporting us all these years that we've been on the air. We couldn't do it without fans like you, brother.
Thank you, man.
I'm one of them scholarship fans, though. I'm still on scholarship right now.
I got you. All right, man. Well, again, we thank you. Roll Tide, brother.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Tide roll.
Man, I love it when we can bring on the fans. Like I said, it's all about them. They make us. And listen, we're coming up towards the close of our show. Before we do that, I think Stephen M. Smith has a few things that he would like to add in the depth chart, and that will lead us into predictions.
Hold on. All right, so just some updates here, a couple of updates, injury updates that being. So we all saw Malachi Moore, Jalen Key, Kool-Aid McKinstry. They all got a little banged up there against MTSU. Kool-Aid just got his bell rung. He's fine. Was out there in practice all this week, so he's fine. Malachi Moore's fine. He's okay. He got his ankle rolled up on, but I know he missed Monday's practice. He missed Monday's practice. He missed today because Saban said he would keep him kind of off his ankle for 2 days. He'll be back at practice tomorrow, but Malachi's fine. Jalen Key is fine as well. He was actually moving around on the sideline after the pick, him getting his ankle rolled up. He was actually bouncing around, but we know Coach Saban likes to use the precautionary thing and not put you back out there. But he had a little soreness. He's okay. Jihad Campbell, who had his knee scoped before the first game of the season against MTSU. Saban mentioned he wasn't playing last week, but he is very much so probable for this matchup with Texas. I'll be at the Saban press conference tomorrow, so I will ask him about Campbell. Hopefully, Jihad will be able to go, because if you can have him with him and Lawson together at that weak side backer spot, it's a lot of good stuff right there.
Hey, Steven, can you do me a favor at the press conference? Ask Coach Saban if I should take the over or the under.
Oh my God!
Look, man, are you trying to get me cussed out, Marvin?
Hey, Justin. Justin, one more thing that I want to throw in too, and I think that is very, very important. And man, let me tell you something. Our live audience, we want to thank y'all too, man. The live audience that came out, y'all were phenomenal, and our live show wouldn't have been as good without y'all. So we appreciate y'all. Y'all keep telling people about, when we have a live show. Bring your friends, bring your family members. We got something for you, and we just appreciate y'all for coming out.
I also got I got two more updates here from the depth chart. So the only big injury right now, guys, is Emmanuel Henderson, who would be our punt returner right now. Emmanuel Henderson has a hip injury. He suffered it in fall camp. He was on crutches during the game. It'll be some weeks before Bama can get him back. But you talk about a lightning punt returner. Had a very good camp. Had a very good fall preseason. Hate that he's hurt right now, but he would be the punt returner. Hopefully, Bama can get him back soon. And then I think last but not least here, getting back to punt returns here. If Alabama chooses to go away from Kool-Aid, keep your eyes on Isaiah Bond, who can return punts, but also Cole Adams. That can move. He can move now. So
now I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm talking to myself. Go ahead.
It'll either be Isaiah Bond or Cole Adams returning punts if you were to move off of Kool-Aid. Now, if Henderson didn't get hurt, it wouldn't be Kool-Aid back there. It would be Henderson. But because
what happened to Henderson? He had a BBL or something?
No, man, hurt his hip in fall camp. Took a bad hit in the hip.
I thought you said he had a BBL because you said hip.
Well, I can tell you this. Anybody other than Kool-Aid would be an upgrade returning punts. He returned punts like he got my knees, and that ain't good.
Not Marvin Hayes.
Anybody but Kool-Aid back up.
Shout out to Crimson Kings, $1.99 super chat. Best show in Bama Nation. Roll Damn Tide link. Did y'all happen to notice that Steve Brown was in the dark for a while? Then all of a sudden, when he started getting super chats in, his lights came back on. Thank you, folks, for turning Steve Brown's lights back on for him. We appreciate that love. Ain't God good?
Also, speaking of Lank, that is the new slogan created by Jalen Milroe and Terrion Arnold. Lank stands for "Let all naysayers know." So that was created by Terrion Arnold and Jalen Milroe.
Well, it's time to let them know, guys. It's time for predictions. We're going to go around the room. I want y'all to give me your prediction, the score, and give me a player of the game. And we'll start out with Steven, then go down to Marvin, Steve Brown, and Bo will finish it up.
All right, here we go. Score prediction. I got 38-10. Player of the game. Dallas Turner's going to get after Quinn Ewers. He had 6 quarterback hurries last week. He let Deonte Lawson and Big Q Robinson eat, but this game right here, Dallas Turner's about to remind Quinn Ewers about the PTSD from last year. Dallas will be the player of the game.
Marvin.
Hey, listen. Y'all know what time it is, man. Do y'all understand how long I've been waiting for this? I listen, man. Being in that stadium on Saturday did something to me. It reminded me just how passionate Alabama football and its fans are, man. So with that said, I got to go 34-10 Bama with my man Lawson, player of the game. Because, again, I told y'all who was going to step up beside Dallas Turner to work opposite of him was going to be the key to how this worked. And the overall linebackers, I told the linebackers was going to be the key to this. I love what Lawson did. I love what Blackshire did. I love what Dallas did. Those are going to be the guys who are going to make this game go the way we need it to go. But my player of the game is going to be Lawson.
Now, Marvin, you challenged Kendrick Blackshot, and he stepped up.
He
He
sure
stepped
did.
up. He stepped up.
Well,
He
good.
stepped
Now
up.
stop letting quarterbacks knock him on his ass, though. But then we seen that. We seen that. That is unacceptable now. See, we got to come on now.
Steve Brown, give us your score. Give us your player of the game. So far, we have defensive guys listed as player of the game. Are you going a different direction?
No, I'm not. I'm going with the defense. I think the defense is going to shut things down. But my player of the game is who is the other corner on the opposite of Kool-Aid? What's his name? Terrion
Arnold.
I think he's going to be the player of the game, and I'm going to say this too. I think he's better than Kool-Aid. I'm just saying. I think he's better than Kool-Aid. So yeah, Terrion Arnold and the defense.
What's the score?
I would say that if we get out pretty good, I think it'll be 35-14.
He just trying to be close to my score.
Yes, because that's everybody's motivation, Marvin, to be just like you.
Of course, I'm a role model.
Bo, what you got, brother?
For my prediction of the score, I'm gonna go 38-23, Alabama. Player of the game, I'm gonna go with Jace McCullough. No.
Oh,
I really think that they're gonna run the ball this game against this type of defense, and I think those guys have something to prove from the mistakes that they made last game, and you're gonna see a different type of room. And I think those running backs, they are mad at the way that they perform, and not the type of mad that where you get discouraged and you go out there and try to do more than you're supposed to do. The type of mad that, hey, let's get
motivation.
Let's get this shit together. Everybody do their job. Let's pick up these blocks and protect that ball like it's your own. And I think those guys gonna do it. So that's what I think. Jace McCullough, he didn't get the touches that he probably wanted. So I think this game that he gonna get the touches that he wants. So I go with 38-23.
Hey, Justin,
love it.
Are we about done?
Wow.
No, I'm only asking because I want to do something.
Just about. I hadn't given my score, but also Hattie over here with a super chat for $10.
Yeah, Hattie.
AKA D Law is going to eat Ewers lunch Saturday night. Real quick, since we're on a time constraint, Marvin. Alabama 31-17 over Texas. Player of the game, I'm going to go with the offensive line. I'm going to go with Seth McLaughlin. He's going to get that push, and it's going to allow guys like Roy Dale and Jace to go absolutely crazy.
Get those snaps right, Seth.
One other thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Justin. I'm so sorry. Because I forgot. I'm so sorry. Pardon me. I know we don't supposed to be cutting each other up, but I apologize. So
All right, so I can do what I was going to do now, Justin, since he
not yet, sir. Wait. I got to say this. What's his name? The offensive lineman that kept getting beat. Hopefully he will pick it up and do better this game. I forgot his name.
His name is Darian Dalcourt.
Yeah. I don't know why we ain't even touch on that, but I apologize, Justin. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, Marvin, speak your piece, and then we'll go to our closing segment, and we'll go.
I didn't want to do this in the beginning because I wanted to improve my mind state as well as probably some others, man. But I'm going to ask y'all if you would say a prayer for my former teammate and classmate, Shantu Ray. I don't know if you heard or not, but his 15-year-old son, Braden Ray, he's the kid who died in the car accident early Sunday morning in Calera. So I know he's been having a bit of a rough time. So I know when I got that phone call early Sunday morning, it was hard for me, to even process that. So, man, if you would just keep my teammate, one of my closest personal friends, uplifted in prayer, because him and his family, they're really going through a rough time right now.
Will do.
Absolutely.
For Marvin, and for his loss, my condolences, and I would like for us to take a moment of silence for Marvin loss, if y'all don't mind. My condolences, Marvin.
Well, thank you to everybody, man. Because it was funny. It wasn't funny, but it was sad. I was talking to Tony Dixon and Griff Redmill yesterday. That 1999 running back room at Alabama had a rough go of it. If you look back at it, Santonio, he's no longer with us. Ahmad's no longer with us. Santu lost his son. That room has gone through a rough time, man. So just keep all them lifted in prayers, man, because our team has went through a lot this past year.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, he'll definitely be on our prayer list.
Thank you.
All right, guys, before we jump out of here, go around the room, prop what you got, how people can find you on social media, because I'm sure, being that we're the #1 show everywhere, they want to keep up with what we got to say. And real quick, super chat from Mr. Yelder1. Milroe, player of the game. X Factor is D-line. Love it. All right, to start things out, like we always like to do, Marvin Constant, if you would promote 40 Plus Strong, how they can find you on social media. And then we'll go to Bo, Steve, and then Stephen M. Smith will close it out.
You can find me on Instagram, Constant45. It's real simple. And again, if you're looking for a resource in your late 30s, 40s, 50s that help you get back in shape, that doesn't require a bunch of pounding on your body, heavy lifting, crazy exercises, you'll find the link on my Instagram to my book, Physical and Mental Fitness at 40 Plus. Just understand it. You can still get in shape. You can still have the body you want without beating up your body. It's 3 different 6-week workout programs in there, 18 weeks worth of workouts. The book is designed so you can write in it to track your progress. It also talks about what to eat, when to eat, dealing with stress, all of the above. So if you're trying to hold it in the road later in life, the book will definitely help you. You can follow me on Instagram, Constant45, links on my page.
You can follow me on Instagram, Bo Scarborough. My merch will start being in the Paul Bryant Museum here very, very soon. It's going to be great. Still on Cameo. Keep watching the Bama Standard. It's going to keep growing. We're going to make this show even bigger. But, my clothing line will be up in the Paul Bryant Museum here starting very, very soon. And I think you guys are going to like the shirts that I'm going to have that coming out for the Tennessee week. But other than that, my brand will be in the Paul Bryant Museum. So make sure you guys stop and shop and get y'all merch, both Scarborough merch, black, white, and crimson. And that's all I have, Justin.
Steve, want to know if you got halter tops.
All right, so my name is Steve Brown. I'm the star of the show, of course. You all know that. But anyway, follow me on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown. You can also follow, subscribe to my fan page on Instagram, Comedian Steve Brown. And this Thursday night, I will be in Huntsville, Alabama at the Stand Up Live Comedy Club. Tickets are going fast. By tomorrow evening, they will probably be sold out. So again, go to standuplive.com, get your ticket. I'd love to meet you guys. But last but not least, make sure you continue to tell people about the Bama Standard. It's imperative, it's important, and it may save your life. Yeah.
Hey, Bo, what you gonna do when you see Steve Brown with one of your shirts on with the stomach cut out and tied up in the back?
Shut up.
Hey, I want to remind everybody before Stephen M. Smith takes it home for us. We have some other programs on this awesome channel. It's not just this one. This is the best show there is, right? Well, we got more content for you at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, and every Tuesday night, The Final Whistle with Matt Caddell, Chris James, Dan James, Coach Smook, and Ty Hayes. Then tomorrow night, guys, if you're packing it out in this live chat tonight, I need y'all to bring the same kind of energy for a new show called The Crimson Dynasty, led by none other than Cece Payne. You've seen her on here as a guest. She knows her stuff. She can lay it all down. Show up tomorrow night for her at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. She needs the same kind of love that you're giving us. Stephen M. Smith, talk to him.
So I'm going to lead this off the way Steve does. If you tell somebody that knows somebody with a car and social media to be a part of the Bama Standard, get here. We're talking laughter. We're talking Bama football. We're talking creativity. And we're talking it all with the baddest man in show business, Steve Brown. Right there. That guy. Right there.
Ooh.
So, but Going on to profit here, what I have tomorrow on In My Own Words, we're talking of a Texas game. We're talking about the matchups going to the game. Of course, I will be at the Saban press conference tomorrow, trying to go for 2 weeks in a row of not getting cussed out by Saban. I want to roll right now, so I'm gonna make this 2 straight weeks. I'll be in there getting his thoughts on Jihad Campbell, getting his thoughts on other players, and just his mindset going into the Texas matchup. He knows how big this is. Steve Sarkisian knows how big this is. You're going to have ESPN College Game Day in there. It is going to be a madhouse on Saturday, but I will have all of the updates from Coach Saban leading into Saturday's game on tomorrow.
Awesome. And thank you again to Miss Olivia Arnold and the Paul W. Bryant Museum for bringing us over this past weekend. And people in the chat are already asking, when are we going to be there next? We're in talks for the Arkansas and possibly the Tennessee game. We will keep you involved because, we can't get those big games going without the Bama Standard, right? Well, guys, we greatly appreciate everybody in the chat. Before you head out, hit that like and subscribe button if you watch the replay. Drop some awesome comments. Until next week, roll tide.
Roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide, people!
Hey.